Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Again and again and over again and again and again. It's okay, Mama. Sit. No. It's not okay. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I will never allow it to forget.
Levy Lee Simon marks the return of the Roby Theater Company with a heated discussion.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our first two guests today are the best you can find in Black theater world. The first guest was a gentleman by the name of Levy Lee Simon. He's an award-winning writer, an actor, a director, producer, and he was born in my town, Harlem, New York City. The second guest that we have today, there you go, brother. There you go. There's Apollo Theater, 125th Street. There it is.
That's right.
Yes. Right. Our second guest today, Ben Guillory. He's a veteran actor referred by everyone in this business as a theater producer, a director on both the stage and screen. He was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a picture of Baton Rouge. Ladies and gentlemen, these two gentlemen have reunited. Levy Lee as a playwright and Ben as a director for a new play called A Heated Discussion. A Heated Discussion. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. We really, really appreciate your presence today. I know this is a joyful time because to get you two guys together, that says a whole lot. Indeed, indeed. Let me start with Levy Lee. I understand. Say again, sir?
I was saying thanks for the invite.
Oh, you betcha. It's been a while since you and I have seen each other. But we're both born in November, too. That's another thing. I got to tell them about that. Levy Lee, I understand that the world premiere of A Heated Discussion represents the culmination of more than 2 years of nurturing and development from the idea to the stage. Tell us about that, sir.
Well, 2019, I think it was summer of 2019, I get a call from Ben saying, Lee, I got an idea for a play. And I'm okay, what's the idea? And he told me, and bringing these iconic people into a one setting, to talk about what's going on in the world today. And I thought it was a fascinating idea because it's not something I think most of us have thought, well, what would Martin think about what's happening today? What would Malcolm or, any of those people, were their lives, did they give up their lives for nothing? That kind of thing. And I thought it was fascinating. So I took the challenge. And after I said yes, then I was like, oh, my God, what did I do? And it was a lot of research and very tedious work. And but it takes what it takes, And it was 2.5 years of get it from that phone call to yesterday. I mean, this weekend was opening, and
I was going to ask you about that, but go right ahead, gentlemen. Tell us what happened over this weekend. It's the first opening weekend.
I'll defer to Ben on that.
Yes, man.
Well, it was literally the culmination of over 2 years worth of work. Previews Thursday and Friday, the 7th and 8th. We opened on the 9th. This was also the reopening of the Roby Theater Company at the Los Angeles Theater Center, because the Theater Center, as most theaters in the country, and certainly in Los Angeles, have been dark because of all of COVID. And this was finally the reopening of the theater, and the theater world in general has been reopening for the last 3 to 4 months. But for the Roby Theater Company, this was our first production since COVID began. And it also happens to be Paul Robeson's birthday, April 9th. Paul Robeson was the inspiration for the theater company. Roby was his nickname. And it's really his principles and what he stood for as an artist and activist that drives and inspires the Roby Theater Company. So this weekend, it was a big opening for those 3 reasons. And the play, A Heated Discussion. We have You know, it's not your usual fare because, as Lee was saying, the whole idea of getting 16 actors, 14 of them being iconic figures that we all know, that our whole community knows who these people are, and the likes of Malcolm X, Dr. King, Zora Neale Hurston, Maya Angelou, Richard Pryor, and I can go on. There's are a lot of characters that we know, and that was part of the obstacles challenge and that we faced in developing this piece, because everyone knows who they are, and basically they're quoted endlessly, as they should be, because of what they stood for. Most of them gave their lives literally to fight the fight. And the situation is that they're spirits, and they're commenting on what was triggered by George Floyd. And the conversations, even though all of these characters are fighting for the same reason, freedom, equality, etc., they're going about it different ways. I suppose the two most iconic figures that come to mind that we all know is Malcolm and Martin. Martin is saying peaceful resistance, nonviolent resistance, and Malcolm is basically saying, by any means necessary, we will defend ourselves. And they both want the same things, but they're going about it different ways. And here, that's where the heat comes in. The rest is the play, and everyone will have to come and see it. We run through to May 15th. We run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 o'clock, Sunday, 3 o'clock matinee. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 o'clock, Sunday, 3 o'clock matinee, through to May 15th at the Los Angeles Theater Center, the Roby Theater Company.
Wow.
To get tickets, you can go to www.robytheatercompany.org, and all the information is on our website.
Okay. The cast. Please tell us about who's in that cast that you got. Either of you.
Kimberly Bailey, Quanta Beasley, Philip Bell, David Bowler, Alex W.S.T. Chumley, Tiffany Cody, Garrett Davis, Tori Ann Hampton, Julio Hansen, Rosie Lee Hooks, Lashada Jackson, Yana Michelle, Charisse Monet, Vanya Renee, Kyle Sparks, myself. We have we have been rehearsing for 6 weeks, but many of those actors have worked together in past Roby Theater Company productions. So we were able to assemble an already familiar cast, which makes all the difference in a play like this that is a couple of hours long, and they're talking all the time. And this cast, of course, because of the layoff, because of how dark the theater has been, they haven't been doing an awful, well, if any, live theater work. A lot of streaming, a lot of television, film, and all of that, but live theater, not so much. And so bringing this cast together was just one, delightful to work with artists like this. I can think of no better way to go through the creative process than to go into a room with artists like this and figure out how to tell the story. And they all are talented and gifted artists, and certainly rose to this occasion. Because their play is an important place. Again, it's not your usual fare with those kinds of characters talking about the wanton murders of Black people by the authorities with impunity, because that's what the play is really speaking to.
Levy Lee, you wrote this play. That name that you have, A Heated Discussion. I like that. Tell us about it, sir.
Well, again, that was Ben's idea. When he called me to pitch this idea to me, he already had the title, A Heated Discussion, and I tossed and turned with it for a while, because the question was, what would they say? And I thought that might be a title. Now it's a song, and that introduces the play, which is fine, it's beautiful, because what would they say, but the heated discussion lets you know it's going to be fire, and that there's going to be some combustible tension and all that stuff in the play, which there is and should be, because of who these people were and are on the stage. They're so one of the things that they all have in common is their passion. These were some passionate artists, some passionate politicians, some passionate religious people, and who dedicated their lives to the uplift of an entire race. And it takes a lot, so a heated discussion is an apropos title.
Okay, we got a video. We got a little clip. We're only running out of time right now, but we've got a clip. I thought that people would like to see this portion of what the play is all about. Roll it, Tony.
are live. Directed by Ben Guillory, performances begin April 7th. Get tickets now.
Roby Theater. Roby Theater is what you need.
Go see it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. I know we ran a little short today, but we'll get back with you at a later date and let the world give us the dates again and we can get some tickets and all that stuff.
We're running through to May 15th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 o'clock curtain, Sunday at 3 o'clock matinee. Go to the RobyTheaterCompany.org website. All the information for tickets and being able to purchase tickets is on the Roby Theater Company website, www.RobyTheaterCompany.org.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that. Best wishes with this run and continued success in both of you for your careers. We thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen,
Ron. As always, it's great to see you. Great to be on your show, and continued blessings to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Guillory. Thank you. And Levy Simon. Thank you. Thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to announce the winners for the Actor's Choice 2022 Easter giveaway. But before we tell you who the winners are, we want to thank you for the persons who entered this contest. We really, really appreciate it. Now, we had a marvelous turnout, and because of that, guess what, folks? We're going to put on another contest. This time it'll be for the 4th of July. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. We're coming back again. You didn't make it this time, but come on back again. And what you're looking at right now, those are the winners. The young lady with the glasses, her name is Adelina Marin of Apple Valley, California. And the other young lady, very pretty lady, there is Germany Kent of Redondo Beach, California. She's the second winner at $50. So we want to thank both of the ladies. Congratulations to both of them. We thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for what you've done and making this a part of the Actor's Choice. And we love you. Thank you. Roll it, Tony.
The alumni of the Inner City Cultural Center celebrates the 50th anniversary with commemoration festivities and ultimately spearheading a media library reflecting artist contributions and live theater productions that have blessed the center throughout the years.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is here to represent an organization that has offered actor training as it arose out of the ashes of the 1965 Watts Rebellion here in Los Angeles, California. The organization mounted its first productions in 1967. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an actor who trained at the facility and now sits on the board of directors for the organization, Ernest Dillihay. Ernest, greetings and welcome to the Actor's Choice once again.
Hey, Rod, how are you?
I'm looking good like a brother should. I feel fine. But listen, sir, before we talk about your project, I got to get this out if I don't get nothing else out. I want to thank you, sir, for your services to this country. I understand that you were in the United States Marine Corps, as we say, Semper Fi.
Well, Semper Fi to you, Navy man.
That's okay. It's all Department of the Navy. It's all right with me. Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Hoorah!
Right. Hey, man.
Hoorah!
You know, I mean, that's well, you know, of course, that takes me back, but that's kind of like another kind of brotherhood, another experience, you know, which we share. Like I said earlier, one time I set foot on that ground, and one of the rare experiences I've had, in addition to, you know, my meeting with the Inner City Cultural Center. So all of that has served me well. Let me just say that.
And you have served them well. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be in a meeting with this gentleman. He knows his stuff, got it together. He really does. Los Angeles.
You know, they say when you live long enough, you collect a lot of things, right?
Yes, you do. I like that. Indeed. Indeed. The Los Angeles Inner City Cultural Center, could you please show us that logo that they have? Oh, that's beautiful. That's it. There it is.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Now, who is the Cultural Legacy? What is the Cultural Legacy Project?
Well, the Cultural Legacy Project is the idea is to build the new Los Angeles Inner City Cultural Center C. Bernard Jackson Memorial Library. Now, why we want to do that is because that man right there, basically in the city of Los Angeles, because of what he established with the Inner City Cultural Center, was really a historical cultural moment in the history of the city, whose legacy has gone unnoticed, and now is the time to reestablish that in a structure and in an institution that archives not only his history, his work, was Jack was a very prolific writer, playwright, lyricist, composer. He offered a platform for many people who had careers that now have legacies and archives. And we like to collect that history. You know, as Jack was the first minority-owned, multicultural, racial, and ethnic performing visual arts institution in the nation, we want to be the same kind of organization that archives that same history for all LA artists, arts organization, and cultural workers. That's what the Cultural Legacy Project is, so that, you know, as a pyramid has existed for thousands of years, this institution, with the peoples and the artists, the people who come from the communities, who go on to have careers, they will have an archive and a place they can call home, return to, discuss, share, and talk about what they had. Now, let me just end this portion by saying this. When Jack created the center, he had in the center the Langston Hughes Memorial Library, because that was his favorite writer, okay? And he began collecting works that writers and poets and whatever people were doing, but then he found they weren't being published, so he started publishing works. So now we're going to give the homage to Jack and name the library after him, like he named his library after Langston Hughes, okay?
That's great. Great, great, great. ICC is known as the original genesis, the OG of diversity, equity, and inclusion. How's that?
Well, you know, we it's like, what is that guy that discovered the North Pole and he planted a flag, or when the guy went to the moon, he said, you know, that step, you know, of mankind. Jack planted a flag in the ground. Actually, the idea was conceived on the UCLA campus. They began having green room discussions. He met Dr. J. Alfred Cannon. They met Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck was at the National Endowment for the Arts. What's happened? They said, we need a third leg in this National Educational Laboratory Theater Project. Inner City came again, first, multi-ethnic, cultural, racial, cultural, performing and visual arts institution. Now, that was what they call, you know, people of color, which wasn't a term, but that was called minority peoples, right? So basically, when we're saying he established the space for what we call today diversity, equity, and inclusion, we staked a claim to that. We claimed that territory because that was his space. Therefore, the Inner City Cultural Center was the original genesis of what today we call diversity, equity, and inclusion. Established 65, here we are in 2022, kind of like dealing with the same issue, but using the arts again, as Jack did, for cross-cultural communications to bring people together in a kind of a beloved community sense. That's why He's the OG.
I understand there is a C. Bernard Jackson Bridge Builders Award at UCLA.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, it is. Now, the history of beloved community, just briefly, if I can, at UCLA, Visizwe Anzia, who is the founder of this concept, discovered that there was a plaque on UCLA's Dan Steps where Martin Luther King spoke in April 1965. The speech that he gave was called Beloved Community, which came from Josiah Royce. You know, Royce Hall at UCLA is named after a historian philosopher named Josiah Royce.
Mm-hmm.
When King was in seminary school, he picked up on Josiah Royce's philosophy of beloved community, came to UCLA, gave the speech. That became King's hallmark. That was, he popularized Josiah Royce's beloved community. Okay. Now, now Jack was a rehearsal pianist at UCLA in the dance department.
Okay.
And that's where, again, the idea of inner city was conceived. He had many long conversations, for example, with George Takei, who was a theater student at UCLA. So basically, when we began talking to UCLA, Oscar Edwards introduced us to the Beloved Community folks. He was on the board. He's helping us with our Cultural Legacy Project. We began this discussion with Jack. So the more they found out about Jack, the more they said that Jack represented the beloved community that King talked about and that Josiah Royce talked about. And that wasn't Jack's, but he was demonstrating that. So they had an award called the Bridge Builders Award, which they give to two people, deserving people annually. They decided, based on the fact Jack's a UCLA alumni, he's a pioneer, an OG of diversity, equity, and inclusion, creating beloved community through the arts. They said, well, we need to change the name of this award to the C. Bernard Jackson Bridge Builders Award. That's the origin. And so it was awarded to two people last year. They've nominated two people to award to this year. I think it's going to take place on April 19th. And then we're returning to the UCLA campus. The Beloved Community Initiative in Beloved Community Awareness Week is bringing us back. And we're doing a redo of this photograph behind me of the play Reading Our Town.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. We got a clip that we want to show everybody about the Inner City Cultural Center. Roll it, Tony.
The Inner City Cultural Center was the first multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multiracial, minority-owned and operated performing and visual arts institution in Los Angeles and the nation. The goal was to bridge the communication gap with all minorities, cultivate and nurture new talent.
So what Inner City was, for example, in 1965, a complete theater, now we're taking memories upon which dreams were created that got turned into memories, and now we're collecting and institutionalizing memories in a house that will be similar, for example, to a pyramid, so that in 100 years, in 1,000 years, any young actor or entertainer that had a dream, and at the time, Inner City was a gateway for dreams, which became memories. We want to take those memories.
The Inner City Cultural.
Wow, that fellow looks familiar. He does.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Kind of a little more hair than I think.
Yeah, I got you. We're running a little short on time, but I want to take it now to what you are really here for today, and that is Our Town. You got a project that you're doing. Can you tell us about it, please?
Okay, briefly, Our Town is a play by Thornton Wilder that was written and debuted on Broadway in 1938. Up until that time, it was done, that was the era that we lived in, with an all-white cast. Jack decided to do Our Town. This is the photograph behind me of the original cast of Our Town this way. Now, when he did it this way, because his philosophy was colorblind and non-traditional casting. Any actor could play any role because actors were kind of like stereotyped and prohibited from playing the role. So we're doing Our Town at UCLA, the place where Jack was, an alumnus, and restaking that claim and bringing back this conversation about this space called diversity, equity, and inclusion, revisiting the play. And then Oscar Edwards is going to lead a discussion post-show related to the play, its narrative, and all its world of storytelling. Mm-hmm. How storytelling and its principles very involved in narratives. We're going to break this thing down and unpeel it. So we're doing a play reading. It's going to be directed by Ted Lynch,
Yes.
inner city, one of our inner city alumnus. Alumnus. We got a lot of people, but we're bringing them all back. It's kind of like kind of like bring back a family. It's intergenerational, multicultural. We got a whole group of new people, young people, old people, different people, and kind of like the way Jack would like it, because we're continuing this discussion, but we want to seal this thing and we want to continue to move forward. So on Saturday, April 16th at 3 p.m. matinee style, right? Free, free. Come out and enjoy the play reading in our town and the post-show discussion.
Wow. Are you taking reservations for tickets?
If anybody can send an email right now to the Inner City Cultural Center at gmail.com. They can use our phone number 213-234-1717, and I will personally put their names on the list, and they can come out and chat and talk. We'll have a great time revisiting. And we have to say that after all, this is our town.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. One quick question: how can I join your organization?
Same way. That email. People can go to our www.innercityculturalcenter.org. There's a contact sheet in there. Again, you can email us. We can put you on the list. Of course, we're also we have a committee of 1,000 where we're raising money to build.
Yes.
And, first of all, to collect our archives and things like that, clean them up, and then keep advancing towards this new place. We do have an overture for a temporary space that's being offered by a bank. No names mentioned right now. But the more people find out about us, the more attracted they are to what we have to do, want to do. Because again, this would be the first institution of its kind to house works archives. It's almost like a Smithsonian or Schoenberg type in Los Angeles, but nothing has been done like this. Again, this is going to be the original genesis of that. So an OG arises again out of the ashes continuously like a phoenix rising.
Outstanding. One more time, tell us about our town.
Our town. Saturday, April 16th at 3 p.m. McGowan Hall's Little Theater on the UCLA campus.
Okay.
Home in a sense, where Jack gave birth to Inner City, conceived the idea. The baby's grown up now, it's 50-something years old, still kicking.
Ernest, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. It's amazing that what has happened in this business. I really have to say, it's good to know you and the history that you know. Okay.
Well, I want to, thank you, Ron, for providing the platform that you provided.
Anytime.
In fact, Levy Lee is going to be doing a reading as a stage manager in the play Our Town.
When you see the tape that I'm going to send you, you'll see he's mentioning you for that same event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He mentioned you. Yeah.
We're all connected. Ben Guillory, the Roby Theater. I was able at LATC when I was performing arts director for the city to present part of his trilogy on the Haitian Revolution.
Yes.
At LATC. So excellent writer. First time I'll be working with him as an actor.
Okay. Ernest Dillihay, we thank you very, very much. Take care of yourself, sir.
You too, man.
Okay.
Navy man.
Anytime. Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
Heavenly Father, I ask that you and your angels watch over my baby tonight.
I find her talking to herself and has these nightmares.
Let her sleep well.
I finally saw it with my own eyes, and there is something going on with this child.
You will not win tonight. I will get you out of this child in God's body.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guests today are two very talented filmmakers who got together and co-founded a productions company. Now, in a short period of time, these gentlemen, they're good friends, best friends, collaborators who have won awards, developed several TV shows ideas, feature film concepts, and documentary projects, all in 5 years. Outstanding, gentlemen, outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bobby Cloud and John F. Uranday. Greetings, gentlemen. Greetings.
How are you doing?
Fine. Where you got? What city are you sitting in right now?
We're in Bakersfield right now, in my law office, actually.
Oh, okay, that's right. Because one of you guys, I had to see which one is the lawyer. You're the lawyer. You're the lawyer. Okay. First of all, ladies, could you please tell us, ladies, how did you guys get together? What made y'all get together?
You want to tell them? Okay.
Go ahead.
So I had my first law office in an abandoned Costco.
Okay.
And he rented the back, and he had actually the first 24-hour live hip hop broadcasting station anywhere. This was way before, years ago, before Pandora, before any of that. It was the first one. So it was 24 hours of the loudest hip hop. And I was trying to practice law in the front. And we shared the same ventilation system. So I had the best smelling law practice in town, you could say.
So that's how you guys got together. Okay. All right. Well, Penwell Productions, you came together in 2017. And since like I said, since then you won a lot of awards. A feature film in 2017 for Lost Souls. You did that one. That was a good role. Could you tell us about that, please?
Go ahead.
Well, we showed it in the opening.
Yeah, Lost Souls was actually a film. We were trying to kind of think outside of the box of your regular horror, paranormal type film, and we decided to take out the actual possession, and did some research and found out there was a lot of exorcisms being done on people without possessions, and they're horrible stories. And we ended up wanting to tell that story instead.
You did a magnificent job that I say that you did. Excellent, excellent. Now, John, you're a filmmaker. You've been around a little bit longer than Bobby in this business, but you've got what? You started the business in 2000. You started there. You gained so far 15 director credits, 14 producer writer credits, editor credit. That's a lot of good work. All this is going on. Richly. Now, you also understand that you attended the LA Film School for Directing, Producing, Writing?
Yes. Yes.
And that's where you got that all that stuff that you do, you learned it there.
Yeah, well, most of it, I had been doing filming and stuff prior to even going to film school.
Okay.
And I actually went to film school to meet other creatives and really figure out what I was doing wrong and what I was doing right. I wanted to really have that sink in and be taught.
Well, you're doing it now. You're doing very well. Very well.
Thank you.
John, let's see, Bobby, let's see, after you guys got together, you've done Broken Innocence, Depth of the Field, and Troll, which we'll come to that in just a few moments. You guys, like I said, y'all have been real busy. Real busy. You did another play called My Sunshine.
Yes.
Yes. You did that one in 2021. Can you tell us about what that movie was all about?
It was actually a test shoot that we were doing for some of the cinematography that we were going to be using in Depth of Field, which is what we just submitted to Cannes.
Yes.
And when we were putting it together, John can't help himself. So instead of just doing some shots, he put together just a small little storyline for himself. And we were looking at it, and he calls me out of the blue and he goes, we should submit this. And I'm like, we should. And he sent me the cut that he put together. And I was like, yeah, it's a nice little, that's nice. Give it a shot. Next thing you know, we end up getting nominated for a bunch of things, end up winning an award. So it was a nice surprise. We got a camera. John can't help himself to try to do something with it.
Indeed. Now, are you guys doing any documentaries these days?
We have one called For Love of Country. It isn't finished. We're trying to get that one released. That'll probably just go out to it's more important to get the story out for us for that. It's about 4 veterans that we know that are from Bakersfield that went to help during a hurricane.
Yes.
And they, they did good work, and I just want to get that out for them. That's what we're trying to do, and work with the distribution company to do that. And then there's one that John was working on even before we got together, if he wants to tell you about that one.
Yeah, that one was, for the record, the story of Latinos in hip hop. Basically, wanted to tell that story because it really hasn't been told. How a lot of Latinos were right from the very beginning of hip hop when it was created, and from the DJs to the artists and stuff like that. So I wanted to tell that story and I've probably gotten most of the West Coast artists filmed, but still trying to get out to the East Coast and down south, things like that to fill it out and complete it.
As I was reading your resume, I noted something, John, that when you said the Latino hip hop, I went, whoa, hip hop music, for folks that don't know it, it's been around 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
Yes, it has.
Right.
It's the same year as I was born, 1973.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did they say back in the beginning? With the hip hop, the heavy to the heavy? And people said, what is that? Well, now they don't ask that question anymore.
No, they don't. Now you got people like Dr. Dre and them opening up in the Super Bowl halftime.
Indeed, indeed. Gentlemen, who are some of the filmmakers that you know about, you admire? Who are they?
Current or in history?
Current.
Currently. There's a ton. The Coen brothers is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like David Ayer.
Yeah.
David Ayer is really good. I've just loved his stuff.
Gotcha. Your family and friends, what do they say about what you guys are doing?
Well, you can tell the story about when we screened Lost Souls.
So Lost Souls was the first one we did together, and my son at the time, he was almost 20, and it was funny. We had this crisscross thing happen where his dad came and talked to me, and my son went and talked to him, and both of them were like, "Oh, now I get it. I finally understand what you've been talking about all this time." Like, "Oh, you made a real movie." We're like, "Yeah. Then we're looking for a year. What do you think we were doing?"
Right.
My son never said it to me, and I don't know if his dad ever said it to him. We kind of got this compliment. It was so their attitude has definitely changed since we started. That's for sure. It's a very different conversation now. Before, there was a lot of eye rolling in the beginning.
Maybe he'll follow you. Maybe your son will follow you into this business. You never know.
Well, I definitely don't want him to be a lawyer. That's for sure.
Okay. Next subject. Depth of field, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, excuse me. Where did I get ladies and gentlemen? Depth of field.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, right now, tell us about it.
Depth of field is not like anything else we've done. It is definitely a festival film. It's built for that purpose. I think it's a good story. It's about grief. So if you've ever experienced grief in your life, it's something that's very easy to relate to. It's about a guy that owns a tattoo shop, and he likes to ride motorcycles. He lost his wife and his son in a terrible car accident, and he's never recovered. So he lives in his garage, barely speaks to anyone. He's been held up for 2 years. And if you've ever been through it, which I have many times, it's something that he just hasn't found the way to break out of it. He doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. And his friends that he barely speaks to that live next door are foster parents. And the first time they ever bring in a teenager, they bring in this 14, 15-year-old girl. And you find out she's struggling with a very similar situation. And it's the first friendship that either of them have had since they have gone through this trauma. And they kind of bring each other out of that dark place, and they remind each other that there's a chance to be happy again.
Got you. Guess what? We happen to have a small clip. Roll it, Tony.
Actually, I don't think that's it. Yeah, that's not.
I don't think that's us, man.
Oh, okay. Can you pull it there, Tony? That's what, okay. That was the one they told me it was. Okay. All right. Moving right along. The movie Troll, you brought that out last year. Can you tell us about that movie, please?
So I'll tell you the real story. So I'm stuck in quarantine.
Right.
And everyone's talking online. And then somebody disagreed with something I said. I tried to keep it calm. And next thing you know, I'm getting direct messages. I'm getting threats. I'm getting everything. And so my thought is, you post where you live. You post where you work. If I was a different kind of person, I could reach out and find you. And then I thought, oh my gosh, that could happen to anybody. So I called John, we start talking about it, and that's where Trolled comes from. It's a dark web show that this guy runs, and he goes from city to city. There's different episodes. People reach out, and people that have been harmed online call him in order to get revenge on people that troll them.
Interesting.
Yes, it's interesting. It does it as a regular program.
Okay.
And it's when you really think about how easy that would be to be real, it's terrifying.
Gosh, I understand it's been described as a cross between Saw and the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, we did it as actually it was a proof of concept when we were doing it, because it's a weird thing. We shot it almost in real time. The whole shoot was only about 8 hours.
Wow.
And we didn't tell the people playing the victims anything other than the backstory of why they were there. So it was all improvised, except for the main character had practiced for about 3 weeks in order to know what he was going to do. But the interaction between the characters, completely unscripted, and it was shot with 6 cameras all at the same time. So when you watch it, it feels, at least we've been told what we were aiming for, is it feels like you're watching it in real time, as if you were watching the dark web show.
Okay. We have another clip. Roll it, Tony.
Are you being trolled? Has your reputation been damaged?
I just want to say that if any of you
by
are
false accusations,
fun, I know who you should call.
hateful speech,
Don't mess with me, man. Don't. Hey.
have you suffered from being trolled? Do you want justice? I can help.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Now, you took this, I understand, back in July, you took it to the Cannes Marché de Film.
We did. And when we were there, it was a much more raw version that we had. And some distributors are like, this is what we think it means. So we spent the last year finishing it up. So we're about done with all of the things that they said that we needed to add. Things like you saw, like the hearts and things like that, the likes and the reacts. So you actually get to see a lot of the interaction, like you're watching on the computer. You can see the comments and everything. So we added all that, and then so we'll be meeting with them in the next month or so.
All right. We got a picture of you when you were there at the Cannes Film Festival. They're looking at. Can you put that one up, Tony? As a picture says "trolled." There you go. There you go. Look familiar?
Oh yes, it does.
Very interesting. When you make the ideas that you have that makes movies, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do?
A twist.
Huh?
A twist, something different because everything. Spielberg said there's 11 stories.
Right.
And he's right. There's 11 stories, but there's always a way to put a spin that somebody probably hasn't. You know, maybe the exorcism movie doesn't have a possession. Maybe, where's, enough about, you have a show, so you watch movies all the time. You normally can tell where a movie's going to go. We try to figure out where's a movie not gone, at least that we know of.
Yes.
Something a little different. And we like the emotional stuff.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, we have a term called Kalima.
Okay. Explain, please.
Indiana Jones.
From Indiana Jones.
Bring tear his heart out.
And when we're being coming up with ideas, it's usually like, does it give us chills? So if it doesn't give us chills, we're like, okay. But if it gives us chills and it feels like it's ripping our heart out, we're good.
Gotcha. We've got 2 pictures of you that we broke out. Here's John on the set filming. There you go. Okay.
You do research. We were warned about you.
Here's another one where the filmmakers, you two, are taking a break. Taking a break. And one more video one more picture that we have. If you can put that one, there you go. You talked about that earlier, but I just wanted folks to see that's what the project is that you're doing.
For the record, yeah.
For the record, that's magnificent, magnificent. And before we run, understand you gentlemen are launching a new genre called True Terror.
Yes,
Ooh.
that is basically that's the lost souls and the troll stuff.
Yeah.
True terror, things that just will, from real life, will really scare you, and that are very possible.
Okay.
Sometimes they're out there and we don't even know it.
That's true. A lot of stuff. Yes. And I always tell people, if you have a nose for news, as you walk down the street, if you have a nose for news, you can see news. But if you don't have a nose for news, you can walk down the street and you don't know what you're looking at. You really do. Yeah, it's true. Gentlemen, I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to come and see us. I wish you the best as you continue in your career. I must add that you have some great publicists in Jasmine. That's Jasmine and Camille at Espada Public Relations. They do good work for you. Nice work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. And good luck on what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Owens, Lose Life, The Way to Lose Your Weight, Larry Buford's book To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. And much, much thanks to our guest today, writer, director, actor Levy Simon, producer, director, actor Ben Guillory, actor Ernest Dillihay, director, producer, writer John Uranday, and producer, writer, actor Bobby Cloud. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. We'll see you next time.